further ado, let's bring him in. He's the goaltender, starting goaltender for Purdue Northwest, the Pride. They, like you said, made a very successful run in the national tournament, getting to the quarterfinals. And, of course, he was with the USA Select team over in Turino, Italy. Cooper Olsen. Cooper, thanks for taking time out tonight. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you very much for having me on the show tonight.
Oh, hey, the pleasure's all ours. We appreciate you coming on, and I'm doing great. My first question to you is your jet lag done? Are you back to somewhat normal here back in at Purdue Northwest?
Yeah, I'm ready to roll. Got practice going with the guys tomorrow morning. Jet lag wasn't too bad for me neither there or here. I'm a big sleeper. Whenever I get the chance, I get great sleep. So I never seem to have that issue. But I think Reamer's having a little bit of trouble with that too, and we're working on it.
Well, it's funny as I talked with Gary Astalis Saturday, your coach over there, and he said you guys got in Thursday night. You had practice Friday morning, and I thought, oh my gosh, it would have took me, being an old guy, probably a week to get over that.
Yeah, no, it was tough. We worked really hard out in Albany. Had some great practices put together, but it was, we were running on all cylinders right out of the gate. So the guys had no problem sleeping on the plane on the way over. So I think that helped a lot.
So tell me, Cooper, we'll run through the timeline. When did you find out, and how did you find out we're going to be heading over with the guys over to Turino?
So I actually got the call from G when I was at my internship midsummer. Couldn't even pick a month, but midsummer, working for my internship, got the call, was at work, and went into a separate room, and G gave me the heads up. He's like, Coop, we got this spot for you if you're willing to, hop over the pond with us and take part in the tournament. I, no questions asked. I was in right from the get-go. Took a little bit longer till I found out that I was going with two of my teammates, Hobbs and Reamer. They found out closer to our season. But yeah, I immediately called my parents. I had a couple coworkers watching the games while I was over there, so they had a ball watching. But yeah, super cool.
So then you found out, and then you started to prepare for it. And you guys, you said you were in Albany. You had practice here in the States together. How much practice time did you guys get as a team before you went over to Italy?
So we were in Albany for about 3 days. We had about 1 to 2 skates per day. So 2-hour skates were in there. I'd probably say somewhere around maybe close to 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours of skating. Plus we had a scrimmage while we were over there. We were playing, who did we play? NCAA D3 team for our scrimmage before we hopped over there too. So that was a huge little tune-up game. We got a little overtime win out there. So that, love getting the little comeback win going for the boys as we were on our way over there. It was great.
Well, there's nothing like overtime games. They're fun for us to watch, but as a goaltender, when you're facing an overtime, well, I got to ask you this. I got to call your scoreless tie against Calvin.
Yep.
What have you ever been a part of a scoreless tie before?
That's a first for me. Okay. That's a first for me. No, it was definitely weird. It was, great goalie battle that we had going on there that night. Had some big saves on both sides. I loved it. Like, it was great. Obviously you want to see your boys net a couple goals, but as a goalie, you're like, hey, I'm doing my part, keeping the puck out of the net, and whatever happens. But yeah, no, it was weird.
And not to belabor that game, but it was, some people will see a scoreless tie and they'll think, what did they do? Just skate around all game. I mean, you guys were standing on your heads, both of you.
Yeah.
You and Adam. And it was such a joy to watch from afar.
Yeah, no, and even like all the way to the shootout too. Yossi was making some huge saves, and super fun to see that kind of competition going on in the creases. I love it.
So getting back to your preparation for Turino, you found out obviously you played the regular season, but what other kind of stuff, like make sure you got your passport and all that stuff in line? What kind of extra preparation do you have to do for something like that?
Well, so I'd say the toughest part was packing for goalies. We had, a bunch of stuff, so they ended up shipping out 2 player bags for me. So I had to throw my usually goalie pads when you're carrying stuff into the rink or taking stuff on bus trips. You throw the pads over the shoulder and you have an extra size goalie bag. But we had to throw all of our gear into 2 player bags. So I had my pads in one bag along with my chest protector, and then goalie mask, skates, knee pads. That was all in the other player bag. And then had the sticks as well. So I was traveling to, get to Albany, and I've got these overweight bags, and they're also, I have a ton of bags too. So it was a little bit of trouble to make that all work out. I ended up getting my bag up to Adrian actually, and the guys drove my luggage bag out there to Albany to help me out on some fees. So that was a big one. Getting the adapters for, their plugins out there. Obviously, they don't have the normal plugins that we have here for charging, laptops, phones.
Really?
Yeah. And then, I'm at school right now, so I might as well bring it up, but just, keeping posted on professors too. So we missed 2 weeks. P&W missed 2 weeks. I know a couple schools only missed 1 week or not any weeks, depending on their schedule. But just keeping posted with the professors and letting them know my whereabouts, and I'll be back the second week and ready to catch up.
What? See, that's fascinating. Who would have thought that you'd have to worry about packing a charger to go for your phone or your computer? I mean, that would have been the least of my worries. I never would have thought of that. I'm glad that you were able to come up with that before you left.
Yeah, I had the pleasure to actually do a European trip with a couple of my buddies this summer.
Okay.
So we flew into Dublin, went down to Amsterdam, we went to Munich, Prague, then just had an outstanding trip there. It was a 2-week trip, so I learned a lot of things to look out for during this trip and just to keep in mind, toiletries, yada yada. Right. So, yeah.
So you got over there and you got settled in, and then you practice. When did you find out you were going to start the first game?
I found out the day before. So we were doing our skate, just, getting tuned up and ready to go. And coach just tapped me on the pad and said, "You're going." That was Coach Waz, the head coach for Minot. But yeah, just got the go, and I'm just beyond excited. We played the Italian tier 2 pro team or whatever it was out there. Super cool. Great guys on that team. Really enjoyed both teams were excited to play a, team from different continents. So
sure.
That was special. And then, definitely tough to sleep that night, getting ready to go play on the international scale. It was special.
Now, it was the obvious question I got to ask you. What was it? A different brand of hockey that you're used to playing against, or is it all the same? I mean, was it their style a little different over there?
I think the toughest 2 things as a goalie to get used to was the Olympic sheet that we were playing on. So pretty huge sheet. I'm lucky to play Illinois a couple times, each year. So they have their massive sheet out there that, I would compare it to. Their sheet's even a little bit bigger than an Olympic size, but angles are a little different. Puck play behind the net is a little different. They did have the trapezoid rule for us out there, so you can't play pucks in the corners. So NHL style rules. And then the centers also had a weird rule where they weren't able to kick the puck out from face-offs. So if you tie up with your guy, you can't kick the puck back to your team. So there's warnings that would be sent out for that. And then obviously a second warning, just like for the ACHA, it's, it's 2 minutes for delay a game.
Okay.
Shorter glass, but that was more for the players, keeping the puck in, not preventing the delay game in the D zone. But for me personally, the style of play, not too different. I think just fast hockey. Each team was a little different in their own way that we went over film with G and the rest of the coaches. But nothing that I could really pick out that was, blow your socks off.
What was your favorite thing that you did off the ice while you were over there?
Shoot. I'd say going around Torre Police was really cool with the guys, just checking out the restaurants and doing some window shopping, walking around with the guys. I was able to go with my dad to a soccer stadium when we were out near Turino.
Okay.
It was, Uventes is the soccer club that they have out there. It's the Allianz Stadium that they have out there. It's a huge soccer club, like top 3 in the world for historical purposes. And that was incredible to kind of see that. We don't have soccer like that in the States. And cool to kind of see the history. My dad and I were Packer fans, so we were kind of comparing the Uventes club to the Packers with how much history they got in the Hall of Fame and whatnot.
Green Bay Packer fan, huh? Wow.
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, I grew up in the Upper Peninsula, so you were either a Packers fan or a Lions fan, and my dad flipped my plate over until I became a Lions fan. So
yeah,
I was a very young man back then. But
yeah.
Cooper Olsen's joining us here from Purdue Northwest, talking about their season so far, and of course his trip over to Turino. I know you obviously wanted a gold medal, but were you happy with the performance of yourself and the team over there?
Yeah, I totally think so. I mean, I'd ride into battle with any of those guys that I played with out there. They're just such a good group of guys. You can tell the coaching staff went above and beyond with the selection of the group, that it was more than just, their play on the ice. We really all gelled together really quick for that amount of time that we were given to, become a team. And yeah, I mean, still in touch with all those guys. Obviously, you always want the gold, and
Sure.
I'm just really happy with how we played in general. Obviously, you want to win the last game, but it was tough competition we had out there. It was there's some really good teams, and a lot of those guys have been playing together longer than we were, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
you can't bring it, the excuses into it, but you can't help but think like, man, maybe a couple more months of preparation, or that, because I really feel like that was the squad, like that was the group that I think we needed out there.
Well, yeah, you guys had a great lineup of players. There's no doubt about it. But that's a great point you bring up. I mean, you were together, really on the ice for a week before, you headed over to Italy. So yeah, that's obviously an advantage that they had. So
yeah.
So let's talk about your season at Purdue Northwest. Last year you guys, you had a good run at the Nationals, made it to the quarters, and it was fun to watch. How much of that did you take, Cooper, with you for motivation coming into the year this year?
I'd say quite a bit. I mean,
okay,
obviously the goal is always to win, but I feel like with our group that we had last year, we didn't lose too many seniors, a couple guys here and there, but I mean, the group that we had, top lines and this and that, like it's the same squad and then some. And so this year we, just expectations keep getting set higher and higher. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the conference win was huge to be able to put that on the belt, but now it's a new season. Let's roll, let's go do it again and then some. So
you play in a gut buster conference. Let's be honest. You guys are knocking the crap out of each other, every week, it seems like. And so that's really going to get you ready when in 6 weeks, good Lord willing, it looked you're sitting in a pretty good spot to get back and to do some damage again. So
100%. Yeah, it's funny you bring the conference up because we did talk about that. I mean, obviously this group is from guys all over the ACHA with the U.S. team. You get guys talking about, all right, which conference is better? What's the toughest conference? And me, the Adrian boys, and all my teammates were like, man, the GL6, it's got to be the toughest, So
well, of course,
yeah.
So I got to ask you a question. I don't know if you saw this last night. I don't know if you follow the Red Wings at all. Their second goal that they gave up was off a faceoff in the defensive zone, and I can't remember who was on the faceoff, but he played it behind him, and it bounced off a Mo Sider stick into the net. Has that ever happened to you as a goaltender?
Not that exact situation. I have had, tips and whatnot off of my own team pads, shin pad sticks. It's a tough situation. It's obviously no one means it. So, staying cool, calm, and just, tapping the pad. They feel just as bad as, you feel as a goalie. They kind of get that peek into your life where it's like, yeah, you give one up, it sucks. You gotta turn the page and put it in the closet. It's tough. There have been times where I haven't been too great at putting it in the closet, and I'll remind them the next day or like, all right, come on, you got to go get one here for the guys.
Well, Todd McClellan must have said something to him after that because they scored 4 straight and they won. So
there you go. Yep.
It'll be something they can laugh about now, at least,
100%. Yep.
So
100%.
What do you work on, Cooper, now with, like I said, 6 weeks to go before the national tournament? I know you've got the GL tournament coming up the end of February, but what's your mindset right now at this point of the year?
Mindset, just tuning up, making sure, body's always feeling good, watching film, just being a good teammate, I think, is the biggest thing. I think our team, we're pretty young, and, just keeping eyes ahead and, one game at a time. One game at a time is the best way to put it. Can't be looking forward to the current standings too much or what the current setup is in the conference tournament yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's really early, so just focusing on what you can do at each weekend at a time, each shift at a time, and just reminding all the guys that.
Who's your team in the NHL?
I'm a big Wild fan.
Okay.
Wild fan. Kaprizov out. That one hurts, but no, always been a big Wild guy. And
your favorite player?
Favorite player? Well, I got to go goalie. I really like watching Saros. Saros is a fun guy to watch. I'm a shorter goalie, so I enjoy watching his game. And then Dostal, I think, is a younger goalie that's been really turning a lot of heads down there in Anaheim.
What's your plans after graduation?
So my major here at Purdue Northwest is mechanical engineering. So I'd like to go biomedical post-graduation, biomedical engineering.
Okay.
Work at a major biomedical producer. I grew up next to Boston Scientific, so I guess that would be my dream spot to go work.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I mean, just anywhere in the mechanical engineering field or world. No exact plans yet, though. Got to get the piece of paper at the end of the tunnel first.
Well, I got to tell you, Cooper, I know that won't be an issue for you because I say this to all the players. I mean, the amount of work that you put in off the ice, the amount of discipline and organizational skills that you have, to go to class, to play, to practice, all of that. To me, you got nothing to worry about. I marvel at that with you guys.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's definitely a lot. It is a lot to juggle at once, but it's definitely a resume spot for all the hockey players. If there's any guys listening, make sure to throw that on the resume.
For sure.
Companies always love seeing that you're a student athlete, especially at the collegiate level.
Well, Cooper, thanks for taking time out tonight to be with us. I really appreciate it. I'll look for you down at the tournament, the GL6 tournament, to start down in Adrian next month. I'm going to try to get down there for that. And then, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll see you down in St. Louis. If you see me down there, make sure you stop by and say hi, will you?
Deal. I can absolutely do that, Lou. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. He's Cooper Olsen. He is the starting goaltender for Purdue Northwest. Great conversation.